the learning target says, I can apply the properties of special parallelograms to solve for missing angles or segments. Recall the properties of parallelograms, rectangles, rhombuses, and squares, because we are going to be using these properties in our video today. Here's some guidelines to help us with our problem solving, and let's get right to it. Example 1 says, in rectangle ABCD, AC equals 3x plus 15 and BD equals 4x minus 5. Find the length of AC. So, before I begin drawing the diagram, you should know that whenever you're drawing a diagram from scratch, make sure you label the vertices in clockwise or counterclockwise order. And here's what I mean. So you got rectangle ABCD. It doesn't matter where you begin or where you want to place the A, as long as you go in clockwise or counterclockwise order from that first point. So clockwise means you're going to go this way. So therefore, if I'm going to do this in clockwise order, this will be B, this will be C, and this will be D. Okay, so back to the problem. It says find the length of AC. If you connect AC, you'll notice that AC is a diagonal, and so is BD. So, for example 1, we're dealing with diagonals of a rectangle, because the figure is a rectangle. So I need to find the property that deals with diagonals of a rectangle. And that's the property that says that in a rectangle, diagonals are congruent. So if the diagonals are congruent, I could say AC equals BD. And I will write 3x plus 15 equals 4x minus 5. And I will get x equals 20. To find the length of AC, just simply substitute. So AC equals 3 times 20 plus 15, and I will get 75 units long. So that's AC, 75 units long. Example 2. The perimeter of a square is 56. Express the length of a diagonal of the square in simplest radical form. Alright, so we need a diagram. Here's a square, and I know the perimeter is 56. And I'm looking for the measure of the diagonal. So what are the properties that would help me out here? Now, it's important for you to remember that in a square all sides are equal. Because if all the sides are equal, that means each side should be 56 divided by 14, divided by 4, which is equal to 14. So each one of the sides should be 14 units long. And then it's also important to remember that the angles are 90 degrees, because that's going to reveal to us that we are dealing with right triangles. More specifically, we're dealing with the sides of a right triangle. So this is really a Pythagorean theorem question. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You get 14 squared plus 14 squared equals C squared. And 14 squared is 196. 196 plus 196 is equal to what? That's 392. So 392 equals C squared. Square root both sides. We want our answer in simplest radical form. So we have to factor 392 with a perfect square. We already know 196 is going to be a perfect square. So I could break this up with 196 and 2. And the square root of 196 is 14, so I get 14 radical 2. That's the answer. Example 3. In rhombus ABCD with diagonals AC and DB, AD equals 10. If the length of diagonal AC is 12, what is the length of DB? So there's a lot going on here. First, we're dealing with a rhombus. And in a rhombus, all the sides are equal, therefore all the sides are 10. So we know all the sides are 10. Also in a rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular, therefore the triangles formed by the diagonals are all right triangles. So let's break it up. The diagonals are perpendicular. So this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, and so is this one and this one. So we're dealing with right triangles. Now, we know that the length of diagonal AC is 12, and you should know from the properties of parallelograms that the diagonals bisect each other. So this should be 6 and this should be 6 because this is a midpoint, the point of intersection of the diagonals. Because in all parallelograms, the diagonals bisect each other. So I'm looking for the length of DB. So what I could do is I could use Pythagorean theorem to find half of DB and then just multiply it by 2 and I'll get the whole thing. So let's go ahead and do that. So we got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's 6 squared plus b squared equals c squared, which is going to be 10 squared. And if you solve for b, you will get b equals 8. So this is 8, which means that this is also 8. So dB is equal to 8 plus 8, which is 16. Example 4. In the diagram below of rhombus ABCD, the measure of angle C is 100. What is the measure of angle DBC? So here, it's important to recall that in a rhombus, all the sides are equal. This side is equal to this side, is equal to this side, is equal to this side. So you know you're dealing with an isosceles triangle here. This triangle is isosceles, which means that this angle is equal to this angle. So the answer is 40. Alright, so we did 4 examples. I hope that gives you an idea of how to work with these properties. And that's it for today. Hope this video helps. Take care.